Hi, I'm Róisín. I'm a yoga instructor registered with Yoga Alliance. I've done 200 hours worth of training, and today we're just going to be doing a little bit of Pranayama, which is some breath work that we sometimes use in yoga, and we're going to be doing a little bit of Asana work, which are the poses that we do in yoga as well. Hopefully this pranayama practice will help you feel refreshed, rejuvenated and quite relaxed as well. There are three parts to each breath in any circumstance, which is the inhalation, the exhalation and the retention of breath. So we'll be looking at all of those aspects within noticing the breath, within the pranayama practice. So to control your prana helps to control and steady the mind. The two are interdependent. So by regulating the breath, we regulate the body, we regulate the mind, which puts us in a great space to start our yoga practice or meditation practice. If you have ever been diagnosed with bipolar or schizophrenia, or you've ever experienced psychosis, I would recommend not to do any pranayama practice, as it can induce psychosis, and people with bipolar, it's not an equal breath, which is more beneficial to people with bipolar. So if you have any of those diagnoses, then I would suggest just using equal breath exercise. So you just inhale for the same amount of time that you exhale. So that could be 3 counts, could be 4 counts, however long you feel is best for you. So we just inhale 1, 2, 3, exhale 1, 2, 3. Just for an example, a really nice way that you can bring it back to the body is just placing your hands on your diaphragm and noticing on the inhale how your tummy expands and on the exhale how it decreases. And yeah, you can just do that for a few rounds and just notice how your body's feeling at the same time. But I would recommend not doing any pranayama practice if you have any of those diagnoses. So we are going to start off with a practice today called Kapalabhati, which is a purification exercise, and it's one of the basic breath exercises that we do in yoga. So it should be accessible to most people, or if it's not, you can go back to the easy breath that I just taught you, which is equal amount of breath in, equal amount of breath out. So when we start with our pranayama practice, we want to start in something called easy pose, which is just our legs crossed, like so. Or if you're a little bit more of an advanced yogi, you can come into lotus position. And if neither of these are accessible to you, you can sit on a chair with these, as long as your spine is sitting up straight. That's good to go for any pranayama practice. So with the Kapalabhati pranayama, we're just going to start off with our normal breath. So let's just breathe in and out. Just noticing what your breath is like today. And when we're ready, on the inhale, we're going to fill all the way up. We're going to fill out our tummy, our diaphragm, all the way up to the lungs, making sure that we feel nice and full of air. And we're going to exhale quite sharply, bringing in the diaphragm, pushing in the abdomen. So you make like a noise of the air coming out quite powerfully from this region of your tummy. If it helps, you can put your hand on your tummy. So we might just practice that like 1 or 2 times just so you can get the feel of it. And we want the breath on the exhale to be audible. We want it to be quick and quite sharp. And then on the inhale, it's a much longer, steady breath. So on the inhale, fill your tummy up. Exhale. Inhale. So if you want a little bit more time to get used to that, just have a little bit of practice. But if you feel like you're ready to get into the proper practice, we're going to do this for about 20 rounds of breath. So that includes the inhale and the exhale and the retention of breath at the end. So you're inhaling, exhale, pushing the air out with an audible sound, and there's maybe like a second or two pause, but it's up to you how long this process takes you. So I won't be guiding you through the inhales and the exhales, just so that you can do this within your own time. Everyone will be different. Everyone will want to take in longer inhales or shorter inhales. It doesn't really matter, as long as you were doing the inhales longer than the exhales, and you're doing the quick, sharp, short breath for the exhale and the audible sound out through your nose. So we're breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. So yeah, we'll just have a go and try to count 20 rounds of breath. So when you're ready, inhale. If you're finished, once you've finished, just go back to your normal breath. If you feel a slight bit lightheaded, that's okay. Just make sure you're going back to a more natural breath, maybe inhaling for the same amount of time as you're exhaling. Making sure we're using the lower, the mid and the top part of our bodies to breathe. Coming back to feeling a bit more like ourselves. Hopefully after this practice you'll feel quite refreshed and rejuvenated, and they call it the skull shrinker because it helps to get rid of all the unnecessary thoughts that we have going on in our brains. So it's pretty good when if you're feeling stressed, if you're feeling anxious. Pranayama is particularly good for people who are suffering with anxiety and depression as well, but mostly you can just use this every single morning before meditation, or just as a practice on its own to help you feel more refreshed and rejuvenated, and to get rid of all the unnecessary thoughts, and so you feel a little bit more collected, a bit more together, and a little bit more grounded as well. So yeah, let's move on to some Asana practice. So we're going to be going into the practical element of yoga, the physical element of yoga now. So if you have a yoga mat or an exercise mat, great, get it out. But if you don't, maybe it would be best to practice on grass outside or on a carpet in your home. So let's sit at the top of the mat, our feet about hip distance away, parallel. Finding your feet on the ground, so just feeling through the soles of the feet. Coming up to the hips, slightly tilting them ever so slightly forward, so we're taking our thumb in. And feeling the flow of energy coming from the lower tummy all the way up through our chest. Let's just broaden the shoulders ever so slightly, and just have the hands down, relaxing the palms forward in front of you. Breathing in and breathing out. Feeling the sides of the ribs expanding. Slowly tucking in the chin. Slowly tucking our chin downwards. On an inhale, we'll raise our arms up above our heads into a prayer position. And exhale, let's dive down into a forward fold. Doesn't matter what your forward fold is, if you can't touch the ground, that's absolutely fine. Start to walk the knees out. Yes, and see what is comfortable for you. Let's come up to halfway, so placing your hands on your calves, your shins even, or the tops of your thighs. Just feeling a nice stretch in the back of the legs and the hamstrings. Then placing both palms down onto the ground, you can bend the knees. Step one foot back and then the next foot back, so we're in a nice plank. And we're going to go into a chaturanga, so if you're more advanced, then just come down to chaturanga and come into upward facing dog. Or if you're more of a beginner, come down to your knees and then bring our chest down and then your hips down onto the ground, and then just pushing up through the palms into the upward facing dog. And just holding here for a second, feeling this heart opener. And when you're ready, coming back down, we're just going to tuck the toes under and we're going to push up into the downward facing dog, pushing the hips up to the sky, and then we're just going to walk your downward dog out, pedaling the feet. So here we want our shoulders to be strong, pushing us up. They should be quite close together, the shoulder blades. And just making sure that your arms aren't hyperextended. So keeping those elbows strong, but not locking them. Doesn't matter if your heels don't touch the floor, that's absolutely fine. Just making sure that you're inhaling here and exhaling. When you're ready, look up to the top of the mat. And let's step with your right foot and your left foot all the way to the top of the mat. And we're going to come up, kind of stay in your forward fold, like we did earlier. And coming up into our half forward fold, with your hands on your shins, or place your hands on your feet. And inhale, let's sweep the arms up all the way up to the sky, come into a prayer position, and then bring them down to the heart. Just breathing here for a few moments. Maybe if you're new to yoga, you need to catch your breath a little bit. And now, so that was one full sun salutation. Let's do another one, and let's do it slightly quicker. This was sun salutation A. So we've got our feet in our parallel hip width distance apart, coming up through the soles of the feet, feel the feet rising up to the tummy, tucking that tailbone in ever so slightly, feeling it coming up through to your chest, expand the shoulders, hands relaxed and open, but tilt the chin down ever so slightly. On an inhale, bring the arm up. Exhale, bring it down, forward fold. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, place hands down. Jump, feet back, or step 1, 2. Come down into your chaturanga. Beginners, put your knees down with the heart space, and then down with the hips. back into our upward facing dog. Then flip the feet up into your downward facing dog. You still have a few moments here. Take 2 breaths. Look into the top of the mat and take a step, or if you want, hop to the front of the mat and into our half forward fold, and then fold. Inhale, bend the knees, reach the arms up to the sky, prayer position, and bring that Anjali Mudra heart back to the heart space. And just capture your breath here. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, plant the hands, step back or jump back into your plank. Coming down with your chaturanga. Beginners, knees, chest, hips into your upward facing dog. And flip the feet, push back down into your downward facing dog. Well done. Let's take a few breaths here just to get used to our downward facing dog again. Catch your breath. And on the next exhale, we're going to jump forward. So inhale, bend your knees. Exhale, try and jump to the front of the mat. If it takes 2 tries, it's absolutely fine. Come up into our half forward fold. And exhale into your full forward fold. Bend the knees, inhale up. Bring the palms together, Anjali Mudra, and bring them back to the heart space. Well done. Let's take it down to the mat. So coming down to the floor into a nice easy pose. There's a few different ways you can do easy pose. So it's a normal cross leg or one heel in front of the other. Getting comfy, feeling your sit bones on the floor. Maybe you want to move your glutes back a little bit so your bones are on the floor without any fleshy bits underneath them. Nice and connected, nice and grounded. So we're just going to take our left hand, place it on our right knee, and take our right hand and place it behind us. On an inhale, we're going to lift our spine, really expand, nice and long, nice and tall. On an exhale, we're just going to twist to the side, twisting to our right, and looking over that right shoulder. I'm just going to breathe here. If you want to take it further on your inhale, lengthen the spine, and exhale, twist. And you can try to walk that right hand back a little bit further. And inhale, flip those legs. Bring it back. And once you're back to the neutral space, exhale. We're going to do the same thing on the next side. This is a nice spinal twist. Taking our right hand, placing it on our left knee. And taking the left hand back behind us. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, twist. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. Just breathing here. Feeling the tummy expand. As you inhale, you can close your eyes. When you're ready, inhale, fill your lungs up with air. Bring it back to the centre, and when you're back, exhale. We're just going to take both of our hands, place them forward, and we're just going to walk our arms all the way forwards until the body is facing down to the ground. It doesn't matter if you're flat on the floor or if you're all the way up here, anything is fine. No one version of any yoga position is better than the other. Just walking our hands forward, inhale and lengthen the spine, exhale, sink the body deeper. And in this pose as well, we're making sure that our sitting bones are still placed on the ground so they're not coming up so we're not rocking too much forward. We're still nice and grounded here. Maybe even start to relax the head now, so maybe your head's touching the floor, maybe you're just relaxing the neck in the air. Just breathing here. Maybe notice how different it is to breathe in this pose. So we can straighten our tummy a little bit here as well. Maybe you notice if you take deeper breaths, or fuller breaths. Should be feeling quite a nice stretch in the legs here. Begin pins and needles, left one to swap them over. We're just going to take it to the side, so let's take it over to the right. Take the palms and walk them over to the right hand side, so you're stretching out the left hand side of the body. Looking at the hands, our drishti gaze, staring at the ends of our fingertips. Continue to breathe. And let's walk it over back to the middle and over to the left hand side to give our right side body a nice stretch, opening up here. When you're ready, let's come back to the centre. Slowly walk ourselves up, being really gentle with our bodies, if you need to rush anything. Let's take our legs out in front of us and just give our ankles just a little bit of a flex. If they've been a little bit squished, that's absolutely fine. Let's take our legs now out to the side, so putting the right foot on the corner of the right hand side of the mat and the same with the left. So we're not in a complete middle splits here, don't worry, just in a nice wide straddle position. And my hands are just behind me, just making sure that my back is nice and long, my spine is straight in this position. Just breathe in here. There's no need to overstretch or overextend the legs. If you're anything like me, you're terrible at middle splits, but that's absolutely fine. There's no need to worry. Our bodies are just perfectly fine as they are. So we're going to take our right hand and we're going to kind of loop up and over our bodies while we walk our left hand over to the right hand side of our legs maybe, and we're just opening up, so our chest is going to be trying to face up to the sky. So you might be here, you might be here, that's absolutely fine. Or if you're a little bit more advanced, you might be able to hold that big toe, but just making sure all the time that our chest is shining upwards to the sky. Just breathe in here. You might find that the more you breathe, the less, if it's slightly uncomfortable, the more comfortable you'll feel. Breathing through any sensations that's slightly uncomfortable. Sometimes we can use the lengthening thing we were doing earlier, lengthening the spine and then exhaling, going slightly deeper into the stretch. Then we can stay here for quite some time, however long you like if you're doing this practice alone. But we'll start to bring the right arm all the way up to the sky, going back to the centre, and just noticing how you feel on each side of your body now. Does one side feel different to the other, and how does that impact you? So we're going to go to the next side, taking the left arm up and over. Doesn't matter where you are, just as long as you're shining your heart space up to the sky. Taking that right hand and walking it over to the left hand side of the mat, and then grab it, hold your toe if you're able to, but if you're not, just stay where you are. Stay where it feels comfortable. Your body's exactly where it needs to be right now. There's no need to push. Just make yourself uncomfortable. Just accepting and forgive yourself if you need to come out of the pose as well. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Just breathing. Inhale, lengthen the spine, and exhaling to go a little bit deeper into the stretch. Noticing what muscles are feeling a stretch right now. Maybe the inside of your legs, might be the side body. When you're ready, just releasing and coming back up to the centre. And let's walk those legs back in. Coming back to a nice easy pose on the mat. And I think that's all we have time for today. It's quite a short practice, quite a quick one that you can do if you just want a quick stretch of like all these different parts of the bodies, and quite a nice cardiovascular warm up at the beginning as well. Yeah, if you want more longer practices, let's do it. Let me know. Hopefully I'll be starting some yoga classes with the extra soon on Monday evenings. So if you're interested, let's join up. So let's bring our hands to our heart and bring it up to your third eye. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me on the mat today, or in your garden, or in your living room, wherever you are. Thank you.